Why, hello there, lost family. Or maybe you're new here, a wanderer just stumbling onto the Lost Gamer's path. Either way, the journey begins again. Today we are exploring the murky depths of Reddit, so stay close. It's easy to get lost out here. So, we are doing more Am I the A-hole Reddit posts, and pretty soon I also would like to do some r/nice guy/girl stuff. I think that could be fun. I've seen a few of those videos and I've enjoyed every one I've watched, so I think that'll be fun. I want more unhinged stuff. What I've read so far has been interesting, but I just want something very unhinged. Maybe I should try to find that. I'm sure there's a subreddit for just unhinged stuff. Maybe I should check that out if it exists, which I'm pretty sure it probably does. Anyway, let's get to the story. My husband says I am emotionally mistreating him. Throwaway account. My husband and I have been together for 19 years, married for 4, and we have a teenage daughter. We had her young and waited a long time to get married. Our relationship has been a struggle. I am definitely the adult, as in I take care of everything. I handle the money and bills. I cook, I clean. I bought the house. I bought the cats. He works, and that's his contribution. But I also work. Over the past few years, it has gotten tiresome. I'm tired from doing everything, and he says, what can he do to help? But wants me to make him a list and ask him to do it every time. Yeah, I mean, I think if you make him a list, that should just, he should be good from then on out, but really, I think he should probably be able to see at least some things, like if you see a lot of laundry in the laundry room or dishes in the sink. Those are some very obvious things to take care of on your own without prompting, or an overflowing garbage can, or a really dirty floor. A lot of things you can kind of just visually see and know, oh, that needs done, why don't I do it? But if he wants a list, if that helps him, keep his head on straight or whatever, that doesn't hurt, but you shouldn't have to be asked to do it every time after that. Once you have a list, that should just be something you can, just reference every day and like, oh, I need to do this. Anyway, getting back to the story, it continues. Why do I have to do that? Why can't you take it upon yourself to finish vacuuming if you see it's out and not complete? And when I do, he doesn't even do the list, or complains about having to do the list. Okay then, I mean, why even act like you are interested in helping if that's the case then? Just don't even pretend. Our biggest argument is the hanky-panky. He wants me to do it all the time. I do not. The more he asks and pressures me, the less I want it. I have tried to tell him that, and I don't feel like I want to be intimate because I don't feel like I have a partner, but more of a second adult child. He gets very angry when I don't want to. He says that I am emotionally mistreating him by denying intimacy at all. Am I looking at it from only my side and not being fair to him, and actually the a-hole in this situation? I'm leaning towards definitely not. I mean, hush. This just the... I mean, for one thing, I feel like he would probably have better luck getting it if he was helpful around the house, because maybe then you wouldn't be so exhausted all the time. There are things that he could do to probably get it more often. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think usually pressuring someone into it is a good approach. I don't think that really makes people really want to get into it by being pressured and guilted and harassed about it. Okay, there's an edit. Oh, okay, sorry. I'm slow. I'm thinking it's saying I do work from home, but I work 8 to 7:30. He works out of the house about a 20-minute commute. Our income is about the same. Hourly, I make $1 more, not enough to hold over either of our heads. Okay. I guess that's a good detail. I don't know. Not the a-hole. Are there good parts about your relationship that you like? That's a good question, because it didn't really sound like there were really any up points. She replied back, "A year ago I would have said yes. We had so much love between each other. Now I feel like I have grown and he is still who he has been 15 years ago. And it honestly gives me the ick. I've been trying really hard, but I'm exhausted from trying. It shouldn't be this much work." Yeah, I don't know. That sounds really sucky, though. This person says, "The audacity of calling you a mistreater while he's getting angry every time you say no to the act. Coercive behavior."
Hello, powerless ant.
So agree. Okay, let's see if there's any interesting things and controversial. Well, we have a few deleted things, so interesting. Okay, this person is just saying they're not the a-hole. It's a really long post, though, so I'm not going to read it. Okay, this person says, "Just hear me out. It's not a criticism. You have done so much to get so... You have done so much, got so long, he's essentially clueless." I think that was meant to say, "You've done so much for so long that he's essentially clueless." Well, it sounds like she's made him lists even, and he doesn't do them, and gets angry about them, so I don't really think it comes down to being clueless. I think he just doesn't actually want to help. He just wants to pretend like he wants to help to get kind of like brownie points for being so helpful or having his heart in the right place or something. He legitimately doesn't know what it takes to keep things going. Make a short routine list. You don't need to be over-specific, just like take care of living room, vacuum, put away items, look for trash, clothing, dishes. Expand from there, but don't micromanage. Acknowledge a decent job, don't clean it again if he missed something, just a passing reminder." Honestly, if he's as clueless as what this person is assuming he is, I don't think he could have just a really simple list like clean living room or take care of living room, as it says here. That doesn't really seem specific enough if he is actually totally clueless. I think, if he's totally clueless, he might have to have some micromanaging or a very specific list. It continues, "You gotta walk before you can run. Or if you've got a monster task you dread, sign it off to him. Some loathe laundry, bathrooms, kitchens." Just, and again, if he's totally clueless, would it be a good idea to assign him a monster task that even she, the very clueful one, is dreading doing? I don't know. Anyway. I don't really agree with that anyways. This person says, "If the only thing standing between my wife doing every chore I want every day is me writing down that chore I want done, then I am clearly the a-hole if I go around bitching." Hopefully I can say that. "If I go around bitching that she hasn't completed the list of chores I didn't even make for her." This person also... The comment continues, "You should also probably leave because of the borderline mistreatment ideas around the act, though. But I never get you people who can't be bothered to make simple chore lists. You spent more time bitching about your husband in this post than it would have taken to write out a list of chores." Well, if you'd read through the post completely, you'd see that she said that she has written lists out for him and he doesn't do them and complains about them, so it's not actually the problem. As far as that is concerned, I feel like it's just an excuse, you know, like, again, He's just trying to seem like he actually wants to be helpful, but he doesn't actually. That's the impression I got from that. But yeah, generally lists are fine, and if someone needs a list, that's fine. Some people, it's just hard to function without one. I'm kind of like that. I do have a kind of hard time just seeing things that need to be done and doing them. Sometimes I just function a lot better if I have every little thing written out. Do this, do this, do that. And yeah. But even I can still see things, some very obvious things that need to be done and do them, so I don't really think anyone can just has to have a list and can't do anything without one, you know? Okay, well, we'll read one more comment. This person says, I do all of the stuff you claim your husband doesn't do, and my wife rejects me a lot. We'll just leave that there. My wife rejects me a lot. I can tell you it's extremely hard, but I have never blamed my wife. I have worked hard to internalize my disappointment on myself. Eventually we came to a compromise that makes my wife happy. Long story short, your husband doesn't sound like he does enough to have any real complaints. It is hard to be with someone when you don't feel loved, but if you aren't willing to do the work to make that person happy, then you have nothing to complain about. That's a fairly decent comment. I mean, I've never been married, so I just don't know about this well enough, I guess. I've never really been in a serious relationship either. It just doesn't really make sense to me, this, thing around, you know, compromises and agreements with the act. It just seems kind of, I don't know, I mean, I guess maybe it would be a silly thing to divorce over. If you have kids, I do think it's better to stay in a relationship if it's better for your kids in that particular scenario, but I don't know. It just seems like you probably aren't that into your partner if you aren't wanting to be with them. So, I don't understand that. And it seems really sad to me, you know, the having to compromise and fine, I'll do it once a month type of a thing. It just seems like you're probably not that into your partner, which is sad, but I don't know. I guess it probably isn't a thing to divorce over, so maybe the compromises and whatnot is better. And I don't know what it's like, you know. Maybe that's just kind of a natural result of being in a relationship for a really long time, and then age, I guess, is a thing too. As you get older, your drive just goes down, so I guess maybe it makes sense, but it seems a little sad. I guess that's the real adult life, you know. The old person married. Hopefully that's not offensive. You don't have to be an old person to be married. I just realized that that kind of sounded offensive. That's just the real grown-up life, you know, being married and having a family and all that. I guess it's just has some depressing aspects to it. Has some sad compromises that have to be made, I guess. Anyway, let's move on to the next one. It says, am I the a-hole for refusing to use my entire life savings, our only capital for marriage, to cover my long-term girlfriend's full monthly living expenses indefinitely, which led to her breaking up with me? Oh my gosh, that's a lot. My girlfriend, 6 years, became unable to work 2 years ago, and her family also lost their income recently. That's sad. What happened, you know? I need more details here. Hopefully he expands. I currently cover her partial monthly expenses. She demanded I use my entire life savings, our only capital for marriage, to cover her full living costs indefinitely, despite her currently studying to become a psychiatrist. Okay, that's a lot. This is a lot to think about. Okay. So, okay. Is she studying? I mean, I don't know. I guess I'll continue on the story before I try to make judgments. He has in little brackets here. No income contribution for years. When I refused, she broke up with me. Am I the a-hole for prioritizing our joint future security over her immediate financial demand? I would lean toward definitely not. Thank you. This says context, so hopefully that helps. I, 27 male, have been with my girlfriend, 27 female, for 6 years. We do not live together and live with our parents. Oh, okay. Wait, if you both live with your parents, then what kind of monthly expenses does she actually have? Do they charge her rent, or how does that work? I don't know. I guess I'll continue. 2 years ago, she was diagnosed with epilepsy and has been undergoing treatment since then. That sucks. Because of her condition, she had to leave her job. She is currently studying to become a psychiatrist, but is years away from monetizing this career, and she hasn't applied for any other jobs since leaving her previous one. I took on greater financial responsibilities in a relationship starting then. Yeah. Huh. Well, I just don't know enough about epilepsy. I don't know how much that prevents you from... I guess it probably would prevent you from doing a lot of normal jobs. I don't know the full details. I'm pretty sure, isn't that something that gives you seizures pretty regularly? So that's a pretty big deal. She wouldn't really be able to safely drive to work, I wouldn't think. And she would have to get a job that would be safe for that, so I don't know. That sounds a little complicated. But yeah, the psychiatrist thing can take, I think, doesn't that take 12 years? Don't you have to go to school for around 12 years to become a psychiatrist? So if that's the case, that's a very long time. Okay, it continues. The financial shift. Her family was solely dependent on her father's income. About a year ago, her father stopped working for an unknown reason, which left her family under severe financial distress as they have no income and are using their existing savings. Since these events, I have been covering all the necessary costs in our relationship. Dates, expenses, therapy sessions, etc. Like, physical therapy for her, or are you guys already in couples therapy? If you are, I mean, I don't know. Sounds kind of, like maybe things aren't going that well. It sounds fairly normal to cover dates, but I don't know what the other expenses here are. An unspoken expectation developed that I should completely cover all of her financial needs, including basic living expenses. My financial situation and current contribution. I have a moderate income job and a moderate amount of savings. However, a significant portion of my salary goes towards loans and debts, leaving me with a small residual amount. I have consistently done my best to be a supportive person and help others when possible in my whole life. But I cannot spend an amount that jeopardizes my own financial stability or our agreed upon future plans. Yeah. Yeah, again, I don't really think he's a a-hole, it just... There's a lot here. There's a lot here. I also... Yeah, there's a lot here. Okay, anyway, continuing. She asked me to share a portion of my salary with her monthly to help cover her essential costs. I agreed to help to the best of my ability, giving her a fixed monthly amount that covers almost half of her expenses, and I also helped whenever I could with extra needs. That's really nice. I think that's very nice. The demand. A few days ago, she told me she expected me to contribute more, enough to cover all of her essential expenses, not just a portion. I explained that with my current income and debts, I simply cannot afford to give more. The conversation revealed that she expects me to use my savings for this purpose. She wants more to allocate a monthly amount from my savings to cover her full needs for an indefinite period until she is better or her family situation changes. And no one knows when these are going to happen. Well, I mean, as far as her getting better, don't you just kind of have epilepsy after you get it? It's just, you have it. It's not really going away. I mean, I guess there is managing it with medication and whatnot, but I don't know. I wouldn't think that would take just an excessive amount of time, but I don't know. And I don't know. Is she expecting him to cover her family, like her whole family's expenses? Because that's kind of crazy. It continues. The importance of my savings. We had a plan to get married and start a life together. Neither of our families is in a position to help us financially. My savings are the only capital we have to start our married life, enough to rent a small apartment, buy essential furniture, and possibly a low-model car. It is everything I have for our future security. My dilemma. The breakup. I told her I cannot agree to watch this crucial savings deplete over an unknown period. I need to know what I am getting in return, and I cannot guarantee a future if our only capital is gone. I'm questioning if I am obligated to spend my entire future security simply because her family is broke and she is not working, and she won't be contributing financially for years due to her studies. When I stood my ground and I refused to commit my savings indefinitely, she broke up with me. That just doesn't sound great. She doesn't really sound like that great of a person. I feel like she should be able to understand that. I mean, that's a lot to ask of somebody. And, like, in theory, if she hadn't broke up with you, that money would be to secure both of your futures, not just your own. But even if it's just to secure your own future, it's a lot to ask someone to give that up. I mean, you worked really hard to save up that money, I'm sure. That just, yeah. I don't think that was really a fair request on her part, and definitely not fair to say, okay, I don't want anything to do with you then. Which I guess it probably wasn't smart for her too, because you're helping her quite a bit, so that's basically she broke up with her only level of financial security. It continues, I also admit that her condition and medications have sometimes reduced her contribution to the relationship. Less affection, less emotional presence. I feel like I was investing a huge portion of my future into someone when she was demanding I sacrifice our only capital and then left me when I refused. Am I the a-hole for refusing to use my life savings to cover my girlfriend's full ongoing monthly expenses indefinitely, which led to her breaking up with me? No. No, I don't think you're the a-hole for that. That's a lot to expect of somebody. Ugh. This person asked if she's never going to be able to work at all, and the OP says, I assume she might be able to work at some point, but it highly depends on her health condition, which is not getting better. She hasn't changed a bit in the last 2 years, so I think this is probably going to be our situation for living for many years. So, will she actually be able to be a psychiatrist? I'm not sure about this situation. Is her health condition going to impede her from even being able to do that? Because I don't know, that's just, I don't know. This person commented under that, I don't think it will be considering she broke up with you. It'll be her situation. Yeah, true. That is true. Yeah, that person basically just said that they know a lot of people that work with it. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm definitely leaning towards thinking he's probably better off not being in a relationship. A lot of people are just talking about how competitive psychiatry is. I guess it's very difficult to become a psychiatrist, not just, you know, school-wise, but I guess it's just extremely competitive. I didn't know that. Yeah, I guess it makes sense, but yeah, I didn't know that. So basically, she's not going to be a psychiatrist, even if she studies it, is basically what a lot of people are saying. This person says, if she can't work because she's having seizures despite medication compliance, she can apply for disability benefits. And no, you should not be expected to cover the bills for someone indefinitely. That's insane. You're barely making it yourself, and you're living with your parents still. But with current housing costs, can't say I blame you. For sure. Yeah, that's something I wondered too, if she was on disability or trying to get disability. Yeah, that would be good to know. Yeah, a lot of people are just talking about that she needs to go to the doctor and either fix her medication situation so she will be able to work or try to get on disability. Both good ideas. Yeah, this person's also wondering if maybe the whole family is expecting him to support them, which is crazy. It doesn't sound like that guy makes nearly enough money to be able to support her whole family. And yeah, it makes one think that might be what she's trying to aim for. It could be that she's even spending the money he has been giving her for her family. Anyway, I guess I don't want to be stuck in the comments all day, so I'll stop. But yeah, with that, I guess our little adventure comes to an end here for now. But the path never truly does. If you enjoyed getting lost with me, show me with a like or a comment. It helps me and my channel far more than you know. And if you wish to keep traveling these hidden trails, subscribe, and I'll see you when the path reveals itself again. Bye for now.